So we are now recording. So again, I'm Kim Salo, one of the school counselors. So on this call, we also have Miss LeMake. Miss LeMake, if you'll just wave, turn your video on. And then we have Mr. Walker. And then we have Miss Marty Rosian. And then we have myself, when we are all the senior counselors. And again, thank you all for logging on to the meeting. This is our senior parent night event. Go ahead and get started. So today, we're going to give you all an info about the senior class sponsor. We're also going to introduce the senior counselors. We're going to have an introduction of the counseling office staff. We're going to talk to you guys about preparation for the senior year and post-high school options. And then we are going to talk about the college application process. We do know there are other options, but majority of our students do report that they plan to attend college. So we do focus a lot of the presentation on that. And we're also going to talk about financing your students' education, and then we have a couple of announcements. So this couple of slides, these are from our senior class sponsor, and that's Miss Anne-Marie Reynolds. So I am sharing this information on her behalf. They do have a website on Parkview's website under parents and students. You can click senior information. And then she advises all people to go ahead and pay those senior dues as soon as possible. And that gets paid through Scholastic Images. There is a link on the senior website for Scholastic. It's not through My Payments Plus. It's through that Scholastic Images. The senior dues do cover cap and gown. There's a senior luncheon, a senior picnic, a senior breakfast. And she did make note that on February 1st, the prices will increase to $25 per package. And then she did mention that Scholastic did come to the school on September 9th for the senior class meeting, and they did provide them all this information on the senior dues and the packages. And then they did have t-shirts for sale at the beginning of October in the cafeteria. The senior panoramic picture was yesterday in the stadium, so hopefully your seniors were here on the 16th and they were there for that picture. And she did make note that there is going to be a senior breakfast on February the 12th in the cafeteria. This is going to take place during second and third period. So make sure your students are there that day. She did make note that all seniors must attend and pick up their senior packet. It's really, really important that they get that senior packet. There's a lot of information in there about graduation, and there will be a catered breakfast as well. And then she wanted me to go ahead and give y'all the dates for the senior week. So that's going to be April the 21st through the 25th. And that week's always really fun for seniors. They usually have some dress up days, and then they end the week with a senior picnic. And that is when they can pick up their cap and gown during that day. But in order for them to attend the senior picnic, they do have to have paid their senior dues prior to the picnic. And they receive a t-shirt for that. And that's how they can get into that senior picnic. So again, important that they pay those dues before the picnic if they want to be able to attend. Honors night this year is going to be on April the 24th. That is by invitation only. And then they do have senior letters, and those are due on May the 1st. And you can write attention to Jenny Harvey at Parkview High School. They did ask that letters only, that no gifts or money be sent in those senior letters. And then she did mention that there is a mandatory graduation senior, the letters and practice. So seniors do have to come to practice for graduation on the day of graduation, which is going to be May the 21st at 8:30 a.m. Oh, sorry, that's not graduation. That's when the picnic is. No, the breakfast. Sorry. That's when the senior breakfast and practice is going to be at 8:30 in the Parkview Panther Stadium. And then each senior will receive 8 tickets at practice. And all fines must be paid and books checked in to get the tickets, and breakfast is included. So that's the breakfast in the morning where they practice and they get their tickets. Then that evening is when graduation is. So it's May the 21st at 8 p.m. This does have to be approved by the March board meeting at the county, but it's typically always the day we list is typically always the day we have it. But it's officially, we can announce that in March, but this is the day that graduation is scheduled. And this year, seniors must report to Mountain Park by 5:30 p.m. to get bus to Parkview. The Parkview Stadium gates do open at 6:30 for guests. And again, she does have a website. We have like a screenshot of that in the next couple slides. And again, I'm relaying this information on behalf of Miss Anne-Marie Reynolds. She is the senior class sponsor. So if you do have questions about either of these 2 slides I just talked about, please contact her. She is the person for contact for that. So now I'm going to pass it off to Miss LeMake.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I'd just like to say that the senior class announcements can be found on the Parkview webpage. It's not the e-class page. It is a Parkview webpage from the internet. If students go on there, at the top, they should click on Parents and Students, and then under Senior Information, they will find Senior Class Announcements. And this is a great place for students who might only be on campus part-time, like dual enrollment students or other students, to find out what information is going on with seniors, or in case they missed the announcements, they can always check there and see what's going on. Staying up to date, we also suggest that you go to the counseling tab on the Parkview webpage as well. And there, students can book counseling appointments. We do ask that parents please try to email the counselor because typically those appointments take a little bit longer. And we want to be prepared for you when you come in. That you can also get College and Career Center information. I'll go into that a little bit more, but then also the senior counseling information, where there's information on Naviance and PowerPoints and other information that you might find relevant to the senior year. If you need help, just ask. Students can go to Building A, and in the lobby, there are QR codes for appointments that they can scan, and they can pick something that hopefully works for them, where they're not having a test or something like that going on in class, and they can choose a time that's convenient for them. Or in the cafeteria, we have our QR codes available there too. And we're over near the school store on Mondays and Tuesdays, and we will talk to students, answer quick questions, or just help them to schedule appointments. The counseling office staff has a couple of new people this year, including Miss Ramos, the office manager. She'll help with students scanning the QR codes if they're not sure how to do that, or if they're missing their phone for some reason. She also helps with all these other things, but the most important thing that I really want you to remember is that she does the request for records. So when students pay for transcripts on My Payments Plus, she's going ahead and fulfilling those requests for records. So students sometimes can put in the address where they want those sent, or just say that they're going to pick them up, or and send them out themselves, or they could go through Georgia Futures and do it that way as well. Ms. Breitenauer is our registrar. She helps with a lot of things with students coming and going from Parkview. So she helps a lot with transfer students, and most of what she deals with the counselors on the end of putting in or asking for transcript requests and sending those out. But she also inputs Social Security numbers, and that's really important for Hope Scholarship. Students need that for Hope Scholarship. So if a student is missing that, please make sure we get a copy of the card or the card itself. And we'll make a copy for the student so that we do have that on file for them. We also have Mrs. O'Connor, the College and Career Liaison. She helps students with career interest inventories. So if they're not sure what kind of job they're suited for, they can explore that with her. She'll help with colleges as far as going to technical colleges, 2-year colleges, or 4-year colleges. She would be somebody that they could go to if they weren't sure which colleges has certain majors. They could go to her and try to do a search and figure that out. Financial aid, she helps with the financial aid form if students need help with that. She has several help sessions related to that. Military, she has a lot of recruiters that come into her office. So if a student just wants to sit and talk to somebody and find out more information about what the military can offer them, she would set up those meetings. She also has test prep materials, including SAT and the ACT, and also list all of our scholarships. And she has computers in her office area that students can access to look for all these things. The College and Career Resource Center used to be off a cafeteria, but this year it has moved to the Collaborative Learning Center, which is another name for the Media Center or our school library. Students can schedule an appointment on Thursday or walk in during their advisement or lunch on Wednesdays. And the College and Career Center's website has a lot of information on it. The main thing that people usually look for is the financial aid and scholarships. So that is always listed there. And I just saw something that said, does she have office hours available for kids and students? Students and parents, and yes, she does. If you want to meet with your student and a parent, she will also meet with you if you would like to do that. She lists a calendar of events, and for example, on October 16th, she has Georgia State University coming to talk to students. October 17th, Agnes Scott College. October 21st, Vanderbilt University. October 23rd, Emory University, and October 24th, University of Florida. Students do have to get passes for these events, but they can usually click and sign up for these. And then we have changed our caseloads this year. We each have about 500 students. So we did have to redistribute our caseloads a little bit. So Miss Salo has A through ELBE. I have ELBF through LONG. My name is Miss LeManc. It rhymes with bank. Mr. Walker is LONH through RAMO. And Miss Marta Rosian is ramp through Z. We also have 9th and 10th grade counselors. And the reason we mention them is because every day we do have a counselor on call. So in case there's an emergency and a student's counselor cannot get to them at that moment, we might have one of the other counselors speak to the student. So Miss Melhorn, Miss Fernandez, and Miss Odom may sometimes speak to your student. Counseling student or staff contact information is included here. We're also listed on the Parkview faculty list. And we also are listed from the counseling page, so you don't have to memorize that, but just remember Mr. Walker does have that middle initial in his name, but everybody else has unique names in the county. So they're just the first name dot last name and then the at gcpsk12.org. Couple of to-dos for the senior year. Earn credits towards graduation. And that's really important to identify which credits are needed for graduation. And that's, we'll talk about that a little bit on the application for graduation. The use of a planning calendar, which is on the counseling website, and it does give a breakdown month by month of what the students should be doing, because we know that they're supposed to be working a lot at home on applications. So we want to give you some feedback on what they should be working on. research schools, careers, and other post-secondary options. So students may find that, they like a college or a technical school, or, they might want to go into the military, whatever they want to do. They should explore those things right now, and try to decide on something. To-do list for college apps and financial aid. And then also an appointment with a counselor and an appointment with a college and career liaison, and that's just as needed. The senior application for graduation, the counselors are going into advisement classes this week, in fact. So at the end of this week, your student probably should have received a senior graduation application. If not, he should see his or her counselor. This has to be completed by November 1st in order for the student to graduate. If you see there on the second line there over to the right, it says student SSN on file. That's a student social security number on file. If it says yes, then you're okay. If it says no or is blank, remember you need that for Hope Scholarship. But all the courses remaining are the courses that the student has in their schedule or they're planning on taking outside of school or possibly in credit recovery. Georgia Futures is a great website. It helps with all of these different things, and I won't go through and read all those for you. But the main thing that I really want students to look at is checking their Hope GPA, because if a student sets up their account correctly, and that is using their full name and making sure their social security number is entered correctly, they should be able to check their Hope GPA. If it says check with your school and it doesn't give you what the Hope GPA is, chances are you probably don't have your social security number on file. So look into that. But it is a way to send transcripts for free to colleges. If you ask for a transcript through My Payments Plus, you get charged $5 per transcript. And finally, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Ms. Martirosian, who will go over post-high school options with you.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody, again. Here we are discussing post-secondary options. As we mentioned in the beginning, majority of this presentation is going to be centered around college, simply because that's where most of our students decide to go. However, we always try to emphasize that although college is a great option, it is not the only option that's available, and it may not be the best option for every student. So our student job right now is to figure out what that best option is for them, which may include military. And within the military category, there are different options as well. Students can be enlisted and attend college later. They can go into the reserve and go to the college at the same time as being in the military, or they can attend different prep programs such as ROTC or military academies that prepare them for the military. And we do have military recruiters that are assigned to Parkview High School. Ms. O'Connor, who's our college and career liaison, is happy to arrange a meeting with those recruiters for students, for families that are interested. So please feel free to contact her for that information to arrange that meeting. Job apprenticeships are basically on-the-job trainings that are available for students who are interested in a career, but perhaps lack skills for it. So apprenticeships will teach them the skills. Typically, they are paid trainings. And then if the student was good, usually they end up hiring the student. So great opportunity, great option for those students who would like to enter the workforce. And there are different programs available. On the previous slide, you see the Work Smart program has over 100 plus programs in Georgia, and then the Technical College System of Georgia has some apprenticeship programs as well that we recommend you look into if that's what your student decides. And then, of course, there's college. Within college option, there are generally two types. There are four-year colleges and there are two-year colleges. Within the two-year college categories, there's also two types, and those are technical colleges and community or junior colleges. The technical colleges are those colleges that prepare our students for a technical career. So they attend school for 2 years, and after that, they're ready to work at that technical field. And so we often tell students not to underestimate these colleges or these careers. There are a lot of plumbers, welders, electricians that make six figures, as we all know, and they only go to college for 2 years. So if your student is interested in the technical field, we strongly recommend that they look into the technical colleges. Specifically, the technical college system of Georgia has a 98% job placement rate within 6 months of graduation. So practically everybody has a job after finishing a technical school here in Georgia. And then the 2-year community colleges or junior colleges, students attend those for 2 years as well, but in comparison to the technical colleges where they're ready to work after 2 years, these students may not be necessarily ready to enter the workforce. These colleges are set up specifically to transfer to a 4-year college or university. And it's a great cost-effective solution or option for students who would like to save money. We know four-year colleges are very expensive nowadays. So some students prefer to go to a community college or a 2-year college for 2 years and then transfer for the remaining 2 years to a 4-year college and university, therefore saving money. Another option why some students would go this route would be, let's say their GPA is not as high enough right now as they would like for their dream 4-year college. So students may prefer to go to a 2-year community college or a junior college, get their GPA where it needs to be, and then transfer to a 4-year college of their choice. So great options as well. And then, of course, there's a 4-year college. Those are colleges that we typically talk about the most and we hear about them the most in the media. Those are the ones that typically provide a plethora of different programs of study, majors. There's different clubs, organizations, athletics, dorms, parties, all of that. But of course, all of this comes at a cost. Those are a lot more expensive than the 2-year schools. And in terms of their application process, all of these colleges will have some similarities, but they will also have some differences as well. Some industry fields to consider. You see them on the slide. I'm not going to go through each one, but you see the name of the field as well as the salary ranges for those. I believe this is based on 2022, so it shouldn't be too different from this. And all of these fields require, on average, about 2 years to complete. On this slide, you can see different salary ranges based on education. Generally speaking, the more education that you have, the more money that you make. Of course, there are exceptions. We know there are some people that never went to college that make millions of dollars, but those are exceptions. Generally speaking, the more education, the more the salary. So how do I help my student with the application process? We know this is overwhelming a lot of the time, so we do have some tips. So first, of course, is the research, and that's probably the biggest and the hardest part at the same time. We do strongly suggest that you have conversations with your student. And what we find a lot of the times is that students end up applying to schools that they may be hearing their friends are applying to, but they haven't done their due diligence and haven't done the proper research. They may not know how much the school is costing them. I had some conversations with students where they don't understand what tuition is. They don't know the differences. between private or public university and how the costs compare. They don't really think about location or campus safety, makeup of the student population, whether or not they would feel represented at that college, faculty to student ratio, strong programs that that college may be, known for. So if you could please encourage these crucial conversations with your students, or at least ask them to do their research for these different topics, I think that would be beneficial for students. And then how to research all of this information. Of course, step number one is the college's website. Most updated information is usually posted on the college's website. Attend college fairs, and we'll go over some of the bigger ones later in this presentation. Schedule a campus visit. Those can be virtual or in person, and we'll talk about that a little bit further in the presentation. We do have college representatives that come to Parkview, and we've already had quite a few that Ms. O'Connor scheduled that came to talk to some of our students, as well as offered some instant decisions, instant acceptances. Various websites such as College Scorecard.ed.gov, collegenavigator.ed.gov. There's also Big Future that's provided by the College Board. Those are great tools where you can search different colleges based on various criteria that's important to you and your student. And then last but not least, as we mentioned, we do have Ms. O'Connor in the College and Career Center. And so we tell students to take advantage of her position and ask all the questions and seek whatever help that they need. Tips for campus visits. First is, at least in previous years, there used to be a prearranged absence form in the attendance office. We do have a new person in the attendance office this year, but from what we know as of today, that should still be the same process. So before going on a trip to visit colleges, we suggest that students stop by the attendance office to request that form so they can make sure those absences are excused. Plan in advance, decide what you want to see, with whom you wish to speak, what questions you may have about that college. So again, doing the research prior to showing up at that school. We do suggest contacting the school to actually schedule a formal visit. So instead of just showing up randomly, it's always best to schedule a formal visit so that they can expect you and you get the most out of that visit. Read the college literature. Again, research is key. Take a copy of your high school transcript, SAT scores. Those can be beneficial, especially if they're sharing information on scholarships and other tools that they may have available at that college. Be on time, be yourself. Keep a journal. We always recommend to write down some of the reflections or impressions from the visit, especially if your family is visiting more than one school, so that your student can go back and read those first impressions of each college or compare pros and cons and things like that. Thank you notes are not a requirement, of course, but could be beneficial to thank those who have helped along the way. College probe fairs, those are the big college fairs that are offered at our schools. There is a calendar that's posted, that's being updated periodically. You are more than welcome to access the calendar. You can just Google georgiaprobe.org/calendar to find that information. We are hoping to offer a probe college fair at Parkview in the spring. So more information will be forthcoming as soon as we know more information. SAT and ACT test requirements. So as of today, 23 out of 26 Georgia schools are now test optional, which means that they no longer require an SAT or ACT score for admission purposes, as long as your child's GPA is high enough. And what that high enough standard is determined by that specific college. Typically, it's a 3.0 or 3.2, 3.3, something around that number. But If you go to the college's website, they will, the admissions page will certainly let you know. There are 3 schools, however, that still require SAT or ACT, regardless of how high your child's GPA is. And those 3 schools are Georgia Tech, UGA, and Georgia College and State University. The role of admissions test. We think it's a good idea for students to take SAT or ACT regardless, even if it's determined that their college may not require it, simply because students change their mind all the time. They may think they're going to a school that doesn't require it, and then all of a sudden they change their mind. They found a scholarship to an out-of-state school or something along those lines, and now they do have it. So it's best to have something and then not need it than the other way around. Also, in addition, there are certain scholarships that still require SAT or ACT, such as Zell Miller. Zell Miller requires a 3.7 Hope GPA and a 1200 on the SAT, or a 25 on the ACT. So again, it's best to have it. We talked about that some colleges will look at it if the GPA is not as high. How to request test scores. So, or to request to send the test scores to a specific college. Typically, that's done through registration. However, there is a option to request those at a later time. I think perhaps with a fee, if done later. Should students take it more than once? We do recommend that students take it more than once, especially if they have done some sort of a prep program or studied on their own. It usually, in our experience, scores go up. So, are fee waivers available? Absolutely. There are fee waivers for students who meet specific qualifications for that, for SAT and for ACT. So in that case, if your student is eligible, then we recommend even more that they take it, several times, since it's free anyway. And you can contact your student or the family can contact the counselor for that information for the fee waivers. College admission test, we talked about SAT and ACT, and we have some more information later in this presentation. IQ Placer is a test that's needed for 2-year colleges. Typically, it's an easier test, and you schedule to take it at the college's campus. Typically, it's less expensive, within $20 to $30. How do colleges use test scores? It provides the colleges with a common standard based on which they evaluate and judge students for admission. What else do colleges consider? Most colleges, thankfully, use a holistic approach. So outside of grades and scores and GPA, they also want to see what else besides academics has the student done. And that may include extracurricular activities, recommendation letters from teachers and counselors, personal essays. Some colleges may have interviews as well, community service, and so forth. They're looking for a good, well-rounded student. How important are scores to colleges? It varies from college to college. As we mentioned, there are some who require it no matter what, and there are others that will take it if needed, if the GPA is low, but may not look into it as much as the 3 schools that do require it. SAT versus ACT, we get asked by our students a lot in terms of what the differences are, which one is easier, which one they should take. It's subjective. What's best for one person may not be best for somebody else. The main difference, however, is that ACT has a science section and SAT does not. You see the cost differences and more information about what each test measures. We did also highlight some of the dates of the upcoming test for this semester in case if your student decides to still retake it or take it for the first time even. There are still some dates available this semester and of course the next as well. Here are some of the topics that are covered for during each test, and then the scoring criteria. Colleges accept either one. One is not better than the other. it's your choice or your student's choice, which one they should take. Here's more information about fee waivers. Typically, it is based on students who receive free and reduced lunch. However, there are some exceptions. And for SAT, students can direct those fee waivers directly through the College Board account. All they have to do is state that they qualify and put in their counselor's information, and then we confirm that information and students are eligible. We've had some instances where students have been wrongly declined for fee waivers by the College Board directly. So if that's the case, please tell your students to stop by the counseling office. There are other ways that we can still waive those SAT tests. For ACT, we are still awaiting those fee waivers. We will certainly have them soon, but if your child is looking to take an ACT, just let them know to check in with their counselor periodically, as we should get those soon. And now we will have Ms. Salo, and she will go over what colleges consider.
Hello, everyone. So what colleges consider? So admissions representatives, this is the things that they are going to review. So they're going to look at GPA. So when you look at your student's transcript, that GPA that you see on the transcript, that's the overall GPA. That is all of their classes. Colleges, some of them look at the transcript and they see that for face value and they take that GPA. Some colleges actually recalculate and they only use the academic GPA. The academic GPA is only students' language arts, math, science, social studies, and world language classes. So they might recalculate and they only look at those particular classes when they do. They also will look at students' rank in class. They will look at those SAT and ACT test scores. They will look at the course selection. So did your student take a rigorous course load? Did they take honors or gifted or AP classes? They will look at extracurricular activities. So was your student involved in any clubs? Did they have any leadership? Did they have any volunteer work? Did they have a job? Did they have anything that prevent them from doing extracurricular activities or having a job? They also will look at any honors or awards they may have won. Some colleges do require essays or short answers that they will review, and some even require recommendation letters. And meeting the minimum requirements of a college does not necessarily guarantee admission. So here I wanted to show you guys the freshman profile of a few of our most popular colleges. So when we talk to students and are like, hey, where are you applying? What are you doing? These that I listed in this presentation, those are the ones that our students tell us that they plan to apply to. So we wanted to make sure you guys have kind of like a realistic viewpoint of these colleges. So a lot of students, as you know, may be interested in the University of Georgia. And so they, for this fall right now, this fall 2024, they had received about 43,000 applications. They accepted about 15,900 and about 6,150 actually enrolled. And then when you see the middle 50%, that's what most students that got admitted had. So most students' core GPA that were admitted to UGA had between a 4.05 to 4.33. Their SAT score, they had between a 1280 to 1470. And their ACT, the average score, and this is the composite score, was a 29 to a 34. And then Georgia Tech, another one of our popular schools, last school year, so for this fall, they had received about 59,700 applications, around 8,000 they accepted, and then they enrolled about 3,880 students for this fall. And again, the middle 50%, Georgia Tech actually does not release these numbers anymore, but this is what I have found through other sites, and this is probably around what they have of the students that get admitted. So their core at GPA, they usually stay around an 8 average. Again, they told me they weren't really tracking SAT or ACT any longer, but this is typically probably the students that they are admitting. And then Georgia State is another one of our popular schools, and their numbers for this fall, for fall 2024 applicants that had applied for this fall, those were kind of hard to get. So we're always about a year behind with Georgia State. But as you can kind of see the trend, this fall was probably pretty similar. So last fall, for fall 2023, they had about 33,000 applications received. So it was probably just a little bit more than that for this fall. And they had accepted around 17,000. As you can see, it's probably closer to 18,000 this year, I would say. And then they had about 4,500 enroll in 2023. So it's probably a little bit more than that this year. And then as you can see, though, when it looks at their core GPA, that's been pretty consistent for the past few years. So I venture guess that for fall 2024 applicants that they accepted, most of them have between a 3.25 to 3.76. And then their SAT score was 1070 to 1210, and that ACT average was a 19 to 26. And then Kennesaw, that's another one of our popular schools. So their application numbers I got for last fall, but that middle 50%, that's for this freshman class that's in right now, that 2024. So last fall, they had received about 23,000 applications, probably a little bit more. They accepted about 16,000 and about 8,000 actually enrolled. And then for their middle 50%, their core GPA average was a 3.36. And then for SAT, on evidence-based reading and writing, those students averaged around a 570, and for math, it was a 563. And then you can see those ACT averages there. And then I always like to include one of the private colleges, and so I included Emory in this application just so y'all kind of have an idea. And we show you this just so you guys can help your student be realistic about the things that they're wanting to do. These are all great schools and they all offer really great programs. And we want your students to be able to go to a great place if they are choosing that college. So what to do next? We just blew y'all a lot of info. So what do we do next? So please encourage your students to go ahead and complete those applications. I feel like for the most part, college applications did open in August, so they are open now. So please encourage them to go ahead and complete those applications. I believe most of the applications are actually online now. And encourage the students to read those college applications before and the directions before actually starting them. Make sure they read the directions. The applications are a reflection of your student. So please make sure that your students are the ones completing these applications. Encourage them to be thorough and to use spell check. And we do encourage students to send them in like before Thanksgiving, definitely before the due date. There was a few years ago when there was for one college, a lot of students waited until the day that it was due and that website crashed. So all those students were like, oh, due. So hopefully that doesn't happen, and it hasn't happened in several years, but because it did happen that one time, we do encourage students to apply at least before the due date. So if it's due December 1st, have them fill that out into November. You know, the sooner the better, but definitely by that due date. And then students do not have to wait on those SAT or ACT scores to submit applications. So if that, like I was using an example of December 1st, if that application is due December 1st, but they're, you know, taking that SAT in November or they're taking the ACT in November, they don't have to wait to take that to submit their application. They can go ahead and submit the application. It just won't be complete until they actually receive those test scores. And please encourage your students to go ahead and make note of those college due dates. So early admissions for a lot of colleges, we've seen October 15th was a big date, which was this past week. November 1st is another big date we've seen. November 15th, December 1st, January 1st. Those are usually the big ones. So please go ahead and have them look at those early, regular due dates. And then if they are applying for any scholarships, please have them make note of that just so they're kind of planning ahead and they're not being like, oh my gosh, everything's due all at once. So that way they can kind of work on it piece by piece and get it accomplished. So college applications, where and how many? So we do encourage students to apply to more than one college just so that way they have options. And we usually categorize colleges in 3 different categories. So you have the reach schools. So those are schools that are most selective on your students list and most likely those first and second choice schools. Then you have the range schools. So those are colleges whose numbers match your students. So the average SAT, ACT, average GPA is what your student has. They have really good chances of being admitted, but it may not necessarily be guaranteed. Then you have those safety schools. So those are schools that, you know, your student would be a shoo-in of being accepted. So we always encourage students to apply to some in each of those categories, just so that way they have some options. And then the next thing would be like to compile supplemental application materials. So that can include the transcripts. And I do have a slide about how to send the transcript and then for them to send their test scores. And as Ms. Marty Rosian mentioned, students are responsible for sending their test scores, so those SAT or ACT tests, and they do that through their website. So for SAT, that's through College Board, and for ACT, that's through ACT.org. And typically they choose those colleges when they're registering. If they need to add more, they can, but there may be a fee. Students also will probably have to send in those immunization forms to colleges. They may have to send in those essays and prepare those and send in recommendation letters. And then there might be other things that the college is requiring. So make sure your child is checking the college admissions website to see everything that's required. And then again, it is your student's responsibility to send in this information. So a note about recommendation letters, have your students specifically look at if the college requires a recommendation letter and who they want that recommendation letter from. Most of the time, if a college requires a letter, typically it's from a teacher. It might be somebody that knows them best. Sometimes the college application admissions will say, choose a recommender that knows you best, and that's fine. Sometimes it'll say teacher. Sometimes it will specifically ask for a counselor recommendation, and we're happy to write one for your student, or even if it's optional for counselors and they want us to write one, we're happy to do that. We do ask, though, that they complete the counselor recommendation request form, and that is available on our website. So if you go to Parkview's homepage and then under counseling, click on senior information, and that's where that information is. It's online, or we do have hard copies in the counseling office, or they can email their counselor and we can email it to the student, but we do require that they fill out that questionnaire. We also want them to send us their senior resume or record of achievement. I think someone else called it like a brag sheet. So anything like that, we need those because those help us write really good letters for your student. And we do get a lot of requests, so we do encourage students to complete those about a month before the due date. We will take it up to 2 weeks before, but a month to 3 weeks, that is preferred because, like I said, we do get a lot and we want to be able to write a really great letter for your student. So you can see there we have those suggested college due dates, and then when they could send in their rec forms to us. And they can either email them to us or drop them off in the counseling office, whatever is easier for your student. So these are the top 10 application mistakes. We wanted to go ahead and let you guys know about those. So the top 10 application mistakes, number one, misspellings, grammatical errors. Sometimes students will apply online, but they don't hit submit. So make sure you encourage them that they hit submit. Sometimes if college requires them to sign something, they didn't sign it. Not reading carefully. So again, make sure they're reading those directions carefully. Listing extracurricular activities inaccurate. Make sure they are only listing activities that they've actually participated in. Not reviewing the transcripts, so make sure they're looking at those transcripts if there's any errors. Using an inappropriate email address, so please make sure your student has an appropriate email address, and not checking emails regularly. Please, parents, guardians, encourage your students to check their emails. They need to check their Parkview emails, they need to check their personal emails, whatever email they're putting on that college application, that's how the college is going to communicate with them. So please encourage them to check their emails. And then this is from the colleges, once they hopefully get admitted, tell them to check their college emails as well. And that's a real big thing that the colleges will communicate with students via email. We will do that occasionally. So please encourage them to check those emails. That's a big one. And then letting someone else complete those applications. Again, they need to be the ones completing these applications. You can be there for assistance if they have questions or concerns, in that supportive role, but please let them be the ones to complete them. Okay, so here is how to request your transcript. So if a student needs a transcript, they can complete a transcript request form located on My Payments Plus. There is a $5 fee for each paper transcript request, and they can pay that through My Payments Plus. It does typically take about 48 hours turnaround time. So if a student does that, Parkview will mail them to the college if it's out of state or for a scholarship, as long as the student puts the correct address in that My Payments Plus request. If an electronic transcript is needed, i.e. for the Common App, then there is a one-time electronic fee. And then they could also send it electronically through Georgia Futures. So in Georgia, if a student wants to send their transcript to a Georgia college, they can send it for free through Georgia Futures. And I listed those steps there for the students. And that's free to send it to any college in Georgia. Now, if they're applying to colleges through Common App, we do request that one-time electronic fee. We will send the transcript when we do those school reports. So that is just a one-time fee. We send it to all the schools that they apply to through the Common App, as long as they've matched that with their Naviance account, which we've already told students about that. But if a student is applying to a school not on the Common App, or like out of state, and they want the school to mail it or they're applying for a scholarship, that's when they utilize Five Payments Plus. And students can do both. They can pay for that electronic copy, send it through Common App, and if the college is in Georgia, they can also send it through Georgia Futures. I typically will encourage students that apply to Georgia colleges to go ahead and use Georgia Futures, even if I've already sent their transcript through Common App Naviance. I do encourage them to go ahead and do it through Georgia Futures, just because at the end of the school year, when they have to send their final transcript, they do send that through Georgia Futures. So I kind of encourage them to go ahead and do that now so they're familiar with that process. And then in order for them to do that, we do need to have that social security number on file. So like Ms. Lemink was showing, we are going over those applications for graduations with the students, and we have on that, it does say if the SSN is on file, it'll say yes or no. If it says yes, they're good to go. If it says no and they have one, please have them bring that hard copy or the actual social security card to the counseling office to Ms. Whitener, and she will upload that. So these are some obstacles that your student may face this school year. They may be scared of, have fear of making the wrong decision. They may have fear of taking a risk, fear of change. They may have some procrastination in there. They might be feeling overwhelmed with the lack of time. They may not be knowing where to begin. They might feel pressured to attend college or attend a certain college. They may have financial worries. So what can you do, parents? You can be there, that encouraging person, that person that's there as a listening ear. You can encourage them to come see their counselors, remind them that they are not going through this alone. They do have help and support. We're happy to help them. We have that college and career liaison, Ms. O'Connor. She's also happy to help. So just remind them that you're there to help as well. We're all there to help the student with these choices. And to talk about financing your students' education, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Walker.
Okay, thank you, Kim. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay. And all right. So the first big hurdle is getting admitted to college admissions, right? The second big hurdle is who's paying for all this, the funding piece. And so just to go back a little bit, a word on Common App. You know, the anxiety that Ms. Salo was talking about, what helps is working smart, not hard. So Common App is a good way to apply to a lot of colleges without having to do multiple applications. And you know, I just wanted to kind of point that out so parents encourage your students to use the Common App, because 99% of the schools use the Common application. The ones that don't, that's when you kind of use My Payments Plus to send the snail mail via US mail a transcript. So okay, about funding. Scholarships are awesome. Grants are awesome because you don't have to repay those. Earlier on in the presentation, there was like a wealth of resources provided, but where you look for scholarships is on the College and Career Center website. You're going to click, go to Parkview High School, click counseling, then College and Career Center, then you're going to click on financial aid and scholarships. That's a good place to look for scholarships. I always like to kind of give context so you guys understand why it's so very important to look for supplemental keywords, supplemental scholarships. Let's take Hope, which I'll get into in a minute. It's not going to cover miscellaneous expenses at schools, depending on the price. So you want to have scholarships, and don't take the small ones for granted. You want to apply for all those to kind of help pay the difference. So when I talk about miscellaneous expenses, we're talking about dorms and meal plans and things like that. And so FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. You guys should have applied for that. The window opened up October 1st, and we obviously advise the students to apply, all students to apply on October 1st. Now, everybody's not eligible to apply October 1st, but because we don't know who that applies to, we kind of encourage everybody to apply. Now, all students can apply on December 1st. So everybody can apply December 1st, but it wouldn't be the worst idea to try to apply now. So there are certain major search engines for scholarships, like FastWeb and Going Merry. Those are two to kind of be aware of. There's Big Future. Georgia Futures was referenced a lot. That's a good place to look for scholarships as well. Scholarships, they are need-based, and then they are merit-based, and some of them are hybrid. So when we're talking about a need-based scholarship, it's based on stuff like race and gender and socioeconomic status, those kind of things. A quick word on financial aid. How much aid you receive depends on how much money the parents make. So the W-2, the wages. So you kind of have to work collaboratively with your child to fill out the financial aid. So, but I'll tell you this, the more money you make, you definitely want to be looking for scholarships. Like if you're upper class making a six-figure salary, you're probably not going to get as much federal aid versus somebody that's kind of blue collar, middle class, and so on and so forth. So you want to kind of think through some of that, which is why it's so important if you're going to stay in state, obviously, to be Hope eligible. Financial aid, where it says college websites right there, that's very, very important. Once you get admitted into the college, that financial aid department, they will actually help look for scholarships. And one of the things that Anna was talking about earlier, taking the SAT, even if the college doesn't require it, will make you potentially eligible for a merit-based scholarship. So merit-based scholarships are based on academic performance. Anytime you hear that word merit, that means to earn based on SAT score. But guess what? If we don't have an SAT score, you might have missed out on a lot of scholarships that college financial aid department will otherwise, qualify you for. It kind of determines what your contribution is going to be as a parent. So keep your grades up. Anytime you hear anything about grades and performance, that's about merit. Applications have deadlines, not to stress you guys out, but you have to kind of keep up with the scholarship deadlines among other things, as well as the college application deadlines. We have a college and career specialist that does a phenomenal job kind of updating the dates and kind of keeping the scholarships that are available up to date. So that's why we kind of are redirecting you guys to the College and Career Center. About the gathering information, that piece is about narrowing down, the criterion for scholarships to kind of make sure that you are eligible. Like there are scholarships based on gender, based on race, based on socioeconomic status. So basically, these search engines ask you for a lot of demographic information. There are scholarships based on what club and organization you're participating in. So the more information you provide, basically you disqualify a lot of people, if you're not the right race, right gender, right socioeconomic status. And so it narrows the pool down of applicants that could potentially be scholarship recipients. So don't be shocked if it asks you for a lot of demographic information. That's what that is about. Okay, next slide. All right. So the Georgia Student Finance Commission, they are located in Tucker, Georgia. It's close by East Atlanta. And so they are pretty much the people responsible for the Hope Scholarship. To be a Hope Scholarship recipient, you have to have a 3.0 core GPA. When we say core, we're talking about your main classes, English, Math, Science, Social Studies, and Foreign Language. That includes some electives like AP psychology classes in the social studies family, or something like maybe journalism or creative writing. It's going to have a 23 code. It's going to fall into English. So there are rigor requirements with Hope. You don't have to worry about that because the way we have every student scheduled, you're going to take classes that are rigorous enough to make sure that you're eligible to receive the Hope Scholarship. Hope pays for a percentage toward your public school education. And of course, you see the number as far as how much is paid toward a private school. Please note, again, like Anna was talking about, there's a difference between costs with private schools and public schools. No college is affordable, but public schools tend to be more affordable. The rate that Hope pays out is kind of determined how the money comes in. The funds come from the Georgia Lottery. If you have lots of lottery tickets, lots of funds coming in, the Hope get paid, the whole thing. But we can't kind of put that out there because it varies year to year. That's what we want you to know. Now, the Zell Miller does pay 100%, but it's a little harder to obtain because you have to have a 3.7 core. And then, as Anna mentioned earlier in her presentation, there is a SAT tied to that one as well. But there's a little fine print. You have to get a 1200 in one sitting, or a 25 on the ACT, or you have to be the valedictorian or the salutatorian of your class. Now, another word on Hope, you have to kind of maintain your GPA, students. So it's not like once you get it, you have to kind of maintain that in college. So I just wanted to point that out. One thing that I also want to mention is that if you're not Hope eligible now, I don't want you to, at a 4-year university, you can become Hope eligible later. So I just kind of wanted to point that out too. So I don't want you to get disheartened and feel like, oh, I can't, it's not mathematically possible for me to move my GPA to where it needs to be now. You can kind of fix that in college. Next slide. Okay, so there's the Hope and Zell grant, the Hope and Zell grant. So the Hope grant, you could get away with a 2.0 core GPA and still get a percentage of your college paid. I kind of want to circle back because a lot of what Ms. Martirosian was talking about ties into what I'm talking about now. You can make a lot of money at a technical college. So I just kind of wanted to point that out. And so everybody could go to school, and further explaining like what she was saying, even if I go to a 2-year college, sometimes those salaries do, if you pick a field that's in demand, which I'll kind of touch on in a minute, like some of the industry fields where there's a need, where people will pay you to go to school because there are not enough highly skilled people to do the work, you can make a lot of money. Like I could tell you right now, aviation is white hot right now, and we don't have enough highly skilled people to kind of do air traffic control. And the hospitality and tourism industry is booming right now. So you kind of want to be thinking about the job market future. Now, the Zell grant will pay 100%, and you just need a 3.5. Well, not just need. It's kind of difficult. You kind of it's incentivized. Like if you get a 3.5, then that grant. Remember, scholarships and grants we don't have to repay. We'll pay for your technical school education. Okay, next slide. All right, the Hope grant, Hope Career Grant is the one that's kind of aligned with 18 different industries. And so this is a grant where it's quid pro quo. These are industries that's in demand. So the state of Georgia will essentially pay you to fill in those positions. So it's a really good grant. And if you could go to the next slide, we'll kind of show you some of those. Oh, no. So you can go on GA Futures and see what those 18 grants are. So, okay, next slide. All right, FAFSA. So to make sure you don't get scammed, because like you really want to make sure that you understand that it's a free application for federal student aid. It's a free application. So there shouldn't be a charge. So make sure you go to the official website to ensure that you don't get scammed. When I say that, you're providing a lot of government documents, W-2s, guess what? Social security numbers, and there are a lot of people out here trying to get your information. So it shouldn't be a charge. It's a quick way to kind of know if it's like a fake FAFSA website. If you look at the fine print on the bottom, you can see that, it kind of opened up October 1st, my disclaimer earlier, but everybody can apply December 1st. So I'll take a breath, let you guys kind of look at that slide. You guys need to be applying for FAFSA. A word on FAFSA, of course, this is not in the notes, but important that you guys understand this. It's going to be a different world, guys, when y'all go to college. And so you have to have a zero balance you need somewhere to live, right? So we're talking about real money. That's why your social security number is so important, because the government's kind of tracking things, because we're talking about money, scholarships, grants. So there are no free lunches. Somebody's got to pay the bill. And so, they keep up with you, because in some instances with FAFSA, and to be clear, FAFSA is a low interest loan that you have to repay. I always say that it's good debt to get into, but you don't want to kind of accrue too much debt, which is why scholarships are so important. But this money helps take care of what your scholarships don't cover. I'll, kind of pivot real quick and say this, like just to give a solid example. West Georgia, Georgia Southern, Valdosta State come to mind. Those schools are pretty affordable. So say you're a Hope Scholarship recipient, that money, right, usually will cover everything, including the miscellaneous expenses. So let's take Kennesaw State or Georgia State or UGA or Georgia Tech. Twice as much, right? Those might be 40 grand. So if you get on GA Futures, you guys can do a lot of things on there. Look for scholarships, see the Hope, see if what your Hope status is, all that kind of stuff. But you can also look at college profile side by side, to kind of look at the class size and all those things, but you can look at the costs. And that way you'll see for yourself how much the tuition is, each year. And so those scholarships make a big difference in you being able to afford, certain schools. Now, about FAFSA. It's processing the order received. So if you're late, wait, one more thing. The government can run out of money because there's so much money allocated for federal aid, right? And so if you're late, because it's a pile of money, once that gets down to zero, there's only so much money for that fiscal year. You won't have any funds. So that's why it's so urgent that you apply quickly, given the fact, because everybody in the country has these same dates. It's not just, a Gwinnett thing or a Georgia thing or a Southeast thing. Everybody in North America is applying for the federal aid. So yes, make sure you apply on time so your dorm and all the things that you need to fund it are covered. All right, next slide. Okay, and again, GA Futures, you could do a lot of stuff on GA Futures. In this instance, let's kind of focus on the money piece. We want you guys looking for scholarships. So again, there are search engines that are on the College and Career Center. If you click on scholarships and financial aid, one that comes to mind is the Gwinnett Foundation. I will Google that, and then you can look for scholarships on there. But what we try to do is take all the scholarships we know about and put them in one consolidated place. GA Futures does a good job with that. Obviously, you see a link to the FAFSA website, the official FAFSA website. Please don't get scammed, okay? And kind of protect your identity. Speaking of that, when you turn in the Social Security card, if you're one of those students that haven't provided a Social Security card yet, you're going to bring that to Julie Rittenhour. If we didn't say that, that's the registrar. All right, next slide. Okay, and I think this is my last slide. We have a representative from the Georgia Student Finance Commission coming on October 29th between 6:30 and 8. And we have a representative from Georgia Gwinnett College, which is awesome because, again, the financial aid department at a college, knows a lot about different scholarships that's out there. They're trying to work collaboratively with you to make college more affordable. And don't feel like you can't go to a private school like Barry University kind of comes to mind. I know personally their financial aid department is excellent, like helping, make Barry more affordable. And, you would think you can't afford it, but you'll be surprised what their financial aid department can work out. Another example, like Emory University, quite expensive, because it's a private university, but you have things, Google this when you get a chance, the Emory Scholar Scholarship or Emory Advantage. If the first one was a merit-based scholarship, like a presidential award, that second one will allow students to go to Emory for the same cost as going to UGA. So, first big hurdle, getting admitted, right? That's the first big thing. Second is who's funding all this stuff. Last thing, and then I'll turn it back over to Kim. Be careful to do early action and not early decision, particularly toward private schools and stuff. Ensure that you guys have the funding to pay for the school because you're contractually bound to go to the school. If you get admitted to a school and you kind of agreed to go, you can't get out of it. How does that fit into money? They don't care. If you get accepted, you have to go to the school. You can't get out of that. But if you do early action, and those dates that Kim referenced are October 15th, November 1st, December 1st, and so on, right? If you do early action, then you could get out of the decision. It's like if the funding doesn't come through. So say you don't get a presidential scholarship or receive that special financial aid package, then you could kind of explore your options and go to a school that you can afford. I know that was a lot on cost. There are a lot of considerations when you're picking a school, but cost is a huge one, which is why we're having a night on October 29th to really kind of get into the fine print and details of funding your education. All right. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. And thank you all for joining us tonight. Mr. Walker did cover the FAFSA information. I did want to also mention that FAFSA is how you, like he said, you apply for federal grants and loans. That's also how you can apply for the Hope Zell Miller Scholarship. And that is something that needs to be filled out every year. And Mr. Walker is right. We're hosting this financial aid, funding your student financial aid, funding your student's college education. Because we are relaying the information to you. These people that are guesting it for us, our guest speakers, they're the ones that are the experts in that area. So we are having that, and we do hope to see you all there. It's just in a couple of weeks that we'll be in the theater. And again, thank you all for attending, and we hope you all have a nice night.